Well, we got to meet people like Gary Vee, Neil Patel, Bradley Sutton. It was a great event, just to be able to connect with everybody.
Now, I had a question in my mind. Did you face any challenges while choosing the name My Amazon Guy?
But I won the social event, and I spoke the most through.
So, since we are coming to an end, so where can people follow you and learn from your contents? Hello, everyone. Today, I have the guy behind My Amazon Guy. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Steven here. How's Steven? How are you?
Hey, Sammy, thanks for bringing me on.
Okay, that is great. So, how was Sale and Scale Summit? We have seen a lot of your posts there.
Well, we got to meet people like Gary Vee, Neil Patel, Bradley Sutton. It was a great event, just to be able to connect with everybody. Just to be kind of neutral on events, it's kind of one of the questions I have is like, how do we get more Amazon sellers engaged? And I think Helium 10 made a pretty good effort, but I think they fell very short on getting 2,000 sellers out to the event because it's kind of a marquee event. You'd expect more people to be there. But in terms of the content and who they brought out and what they invested in, I mean, they did a really good job.
Okay. I think you were a speaker amongst them, right?
I actually was not a speaker on stage at this event, but I won the social event, and I spoke the most through the digital application that was part of Helium 10's Scale and Sale. So you can see that right up there. I'll pull this over on camera.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I won this nice little death shard right there.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I have seen that previously in your LinkedIn post. So I think it will be new for the audience. Okay. So I'm going to start up with a very serious question.
Okay.
Who is the guy behind My Amazon Guy? A quick introduction about Steven.
I could take that a lot of different directions, but let me start with, I'm just a guy. I don't think anybody cares who I am, but I think lots of people care about what I say and stand for. So I'm a father of four kids, 6 and under. We have over 300 employees at My Amazon Guy and over 300 brands that we work with. And my job as a founder and as a CEO of an agency is to take care of people. And so I kind of like to joke that we're more of an HR company than we are an agency.
Okay.
And so like what makes me tick is building a system. My spirit animal is a hummingbird, and I'm constantly iterating, right? Constantly fluttering around and going from one flower and gathering the nectar and going to the next, and but constantly on the move. So some people are measure twice and cut once, and I am measure once and cut 1,000 times.
Okay, that was a cool introduction. Now I had a question in my mind. Did you face any challenges while choosing the name My Amazon Guy?
So like most company names, they're usually generally chosen on a whim, and mine is no different. So I was talking to the wife. I just gotten laid off from a job at Lights Online, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I decided in under 48 hours of being laid off that I was going to start an agency. And and Emily, my wife, she asked me in the laundry room, we're doing laundry together. She asked me, okay, so how do people normally introduce you? And I said, I don't know. They don't really care who I am. They just say, talk to My Amazon Guy. And that's how the company name came about. And of course, the first employee I hired was a woman. And so then at that point, it was just like, okay, right. Not a consulting gig. It's an agency. And so I am the guy behind My Amazon Guy. But now we have over 300 employees that represent what we stand for.
Wow. That is a great number that you have achieved. I mean, I have seen how aggressive you go and hire people. So
we have over 300 brands we work with. We had to hire to service them.
Yeah. So even now also, if I go in YouTube and search Amazon SEO, your video comes in the first few of them.
Because I was just joking the other day. I met the guy that was in slot number 1, but maybe over in India, I've got slot 1 while you're logged in. But if you do it incognito, I'm beaten by Steve Chow. and he does a great video, but of course mine's better.
Yeah, maybe I would rest my case there. Okay, so regarding SEO, I have a few questions, and also I'm sure the audience would love to hear from you, because in terms of SEO, you know, I mean, you have that knowledge that everyone trusts.
That
So
is where I'm an inch wide and a mile deep for sure.
yeah. So does question and answer section in the listing has any impact in SEO in
It does.
Amazon and in Google?
It has an impact on Amazon as well. And the reason we know this is because we've seen case studies where somebody would not be able to put a word like gift for cancer onto their listing because then the product gets yanked. And so what we ended up doing is you can put it in the Q&A section of the listing, ask a question. Hey, would this make a good gift for a cancer patient? And then you can respond to the question and say, yeah, this is a great cancer patient gift. And then that won't get the listing yanked. And then you start indexing for those related terms. So we know for 100% fact that Q&A, reviews, and other cursory attributes, especially A+ content, especially alt text, all of these help with Amazon SEO indexing.
Okay, so for this question and answer section, we know that there is a website called answerthepublic.com. How do we find those questions? Because there are a lot of questions that have high search volume and low search volume that the seller has to identify. So do you have any tips on that?
So how to choose keywords?
Yeah, choose keywords and the questions to put there.
So I use Helium 10 and I use that data in Cerebro to figure out what keywords to select. But in terms of asking questions to try and index for keywords, this maneuver is not necessarily a common one because generally speaking, you can index faster by putting it in the product description with an exact match or the bullet points, the title, A+ content. That's generally the fastest way to make an indexing maneuver. But there are use cases like the one I brought up where you can't put it on the listing because it'll get the product yanked. Maybe it's a prohibited term. Maybe the combination of the term is prohibited. So that's when I would put it in the Q&A section. Now, if you've got a product launch and you're just trying to get additional keyword iterations, sometimes it's helpful to go ahead and put a question in or two that's topical and germane to your audience. Like, what do you think the number one question somebody's going to ask? Go ahead and ask that. And then pepper in a keyword that you're really, really important to your product. I think that would be totally appropriate. The way that I gauge whether you should do something or not as an Amazon seller is, does it add value to the consumer? If yes, go ahead and do it.
Okay, got it. And we have seen your SEO phase 4. I think you have recently updated that and added a new phase 4, right?
Yeah.
So in that phase 4,
so it's all about market share.
Okay.
And so every time Amazon gives us a new tool or a new technique, we'll come out with a new way to take advantage of it. So the Search Query Performance Report came out and gave us a lot of data that you never had access to before. And so you have the ability to see what your brand or your ASIN's market share is down to impressions, clicks, add to carts, purchases. And if you'd like, I'd be happy to share my screen here and showcase that.
Sure.
So I just hit the share screen button if you want to pull it up. And essentially on the screen here, you can see I've got different brands. I can look at the reporting range on a weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis. So this is a keyword that we've done a case study on, sage candles for cleansing house. I cannot get it off my Search Query Performance Report because Amazon still thinks it's the most important keyword for my brand, despite all that. And so let's see if I can find the case study here. But in any case, it's been a really good and powerful example of how when we focus on impressions, we focus on clicks and add to carts, it results in opportunities. And so, all right, so here's the case study. I found it on my website. So I like to call this the ICAP marketing funnel. So ICAP standing for impressions, clicks, add to carts, and purchases. And that keyword, the sage candles for cleansing house, which you saw just on my other screen, when we first saw this report available, I was like, what the heck is this? Like, I don't even sell a candle. Like, my product's a smudge kit. So when I look at, and here's the product in question, right? And so I was like, okay, well, why is Amazon telling me to focus on this? And I didn't understand it at the time, but I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'm just gonna try and gain market share. So what I did is I went out of my way to add the keyword to the title, to the A+ content. I spent more on ads. And so when I first started out, the original data set's on the left here, and it was at 2.75% impressions, under 8% for clicks, 9% for add to carts, under 7% for purchases. And when I did the effort over 7 weeks, I tripled my market share.
Wow.
And had the ability to get to 7.5 impression share, 20% clicks. And basically, after all is said and done, almost 1 out of 5 people who search for this term now buy my product. That's a gigantic market share considering it's not even a candle. And so what I learned is that it doesn't matter what the product is, right? So here's the keyword in question. I put it in the title right there. I also put some Spanish in there, and we've had pretty good success with that. But if I go over to Amazon and I type this keyword in, so I've got PPC position number 1 and 2, and then organically speaking, I'm at the top of search results, and it's doing really quite well. But when you look at all the other product results, we see lots of candles. But the consumer was more interested in my product than they were on some of these other results. And so that's what I learned from this exercise, is that you can gain market share on keywords that don't necessarily obviously apply to your product. So anybody who hasn't looked at the Search Create Performance Report, you got a brand view in the top left, ASIN view right next to it, and you can go product by product, brand by brand, and look up things that might help you gain sales. So House of the Dragon merchandise, here's a great case example. I have a new product that I just came out with, a tumbler right here, that I would love to get ranked. Now, here's a keyword I haven't been paying attention to yet. House of the Dragon merchandise, exact match. I don't have an exact match on my listing yet. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my product page right now live, and I'm going to go ahead and edit it in. And then I know that a week from now, that when this starts picking up and I'm in the BSR 33,000, so like I'm gonna have to ship a lot more of these in, right? So we're gonna have to take a look at that. Like, I know that I will gain market share. So I've sold 40 of these in the last 30 days. That's the big cup. And then 6 in the last. So it looks like I got 6 sales pretty much yesterday on this one product right there alone. So I have an up and coming product. So we're gonna go into we'll go into the big tumbler here. And I'm going to go to the title, and let's see if we can massage this in. So here's the keyword we got to do: House of the Dragon merchandise. So we got House of the Dragon right there, and we got the Game of Thrones right next to it. So I could literally just put in merchandise right here and probably get it to index immediately. And one of the tricks I sometimes use is I'll put a hyphen after the first 5 words to set the canonical URL of a product. And that's what I'm going to do right here. And I like the smaller hyphens better, but my team sometimes puts in the bigger hyphens. And I'm just going to go down and hit save. And all I did was add 1 word to the title. And currently, if we go back to the report right here, so there's 1,000 people during last week that looked for this product. And I got 1.8% of the brand share, but 24% of the click-through share. So clearly my product is super relevant. And if we go to Amazon.com and type in the term, let's see if I come up. Right, a lot of random stuff comes up, but my Tumblr is not showing up yet. So I have work to do. But once I get that to show up, I'm going to gain some market share. Oh, there it is right there. And then I will get hopefully a higher SEO rank. Maybe we need to work that into some of the PPC there, and then I'll gain some major market share. So one of the things you can do is you can go into Campaign Creator, hit Create Campaign, Sponsored Products, And we'll just call that the ad group right there. Type in dragon, grab my product. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why the House of Dragon product's not showing up like that. Oh, it says search by, should be able to do that. All right, we'll go to the live listing here. We'll grab the ASIN, hit enter. We'll add both variations. Got both of those. Manual targeting, enter list. We will do probably a phrase match on this particular keyword. And I got to go copy it over again. So House of the Dragon merchandise. Put it in like that. Add keyword. I'll put in a bid of $1.11, $1.10 there, and I'll hit launch. So I got to put my budget in. So let's go fix that.
Yeah.
So budget, we'll go $50 a day. So I know that this campaign is going to do well. Like, already know, because I have a 23% click-through rate right there. Am I looking at the right line? Yeah. So if you have a high CTR, you know it's going to be important for you. And then you can spend more time and money on it. You'll increase your SEO and your PPC keyword rankings. And then, of course, your market share.
Yeah. So while you were showing your product, the tumbler, I have observed that you have that premium A+ content. So is it invite only, or how is it?
All right, so I'll show my screen again since you're interested in looking at that design. So premium A+ content, you have to have 15 different A+ content submitted in the last year, and you have to have the brand story. So this is the brand story right here, and we have different products we can link to and all of that. This, by the way, this A grade right here, this is Fake Spot rating my reviews. And so I'm actually testing out a special program with them yet. I haven't announced this to my own channel even yet. But we're testing some things out, and they've got some cool programs that they're coming out with. But basically, people want to see legitimate reviews. Down here in the A+ content starts in the product description. And you're correct. This is called premium A+ content, which is a little bit different from regular A+ content. You'll notice that the sheer volume of the size is gigantic. Yeah. I mean, check this out, just all over the place. You still get lots of different cool modules, and you can link to other products. You got the product grid. So all the same types of modules in premium A+ content, but you had the ability to link to them. And you have the ability to put a video in. I don't think we had a video yet on this product. So I'll probably ask my team. I'm going to go over to my Slack channel right now. Anytime I do live videos, I always find things we need to improve. Need a video on House of Dragons, right? So we need to get that shot, and then we'll add that into our A+ content. One of the other cool things I've recently started doing is customizing brand stories. So here's kind of my feminine brand story option, and I'm going to go over to one of my man products, my man cave product. This is not sold very well yet, by the way. Well, we don't have the man version on this one yet, but let's see which one we do. Maybe on, not the Mega Pint. I don't know, not sure. But we have a different version. Okay, so here's a different brand story version. I know where I've got it. It's on the Macho Soaps. So let's type in Macho Soaps. And so here's my brand. Here's my product. Here's my sponsored product number 1. I'm in organic slot 3 right there. So if we scroll down here, you'll see it with some axe and some man cave stuff. So we've got other man-related products for somebody. So you can customize your brand story and use that as another merchandising, brand connecting product opportunity.
Wow. So what is your favorite module out of all the modules of A+ content?
It's definitely the product grid. So if we scroll down, it's going to be this right there where you can cross promote and link to different products. So this A+ content is the regular A+ content, not the premium version. So you can see it's smaller.
Yeah.
And then almost the same type of modules, but I like the product grid because you can cross promote and link to other products right there.
Okay. So we have talked about SEO a little bit, designs a little bit. Now let's talk about ads a little bit.
Sure.
So with second Prime Day coming, would you like to share one tip from your knowledge vault?
Well, you always need to be advertising. That's the easy one to pick. For every keyword you get a PPC sale on, you're going to get 3 organic sales over 6 months. So if you're ever wondering, can you advertise at break even, maybe even a slight loss on your margin? The answer is yes, because all of the keyword juice that you generate from those PPC sales will lift the whole product up, and you get lots of opportunities from that. Other tips I can give you: please never negate a good keyword. Just don't do it. Like, people are like, let me negate my good keywords off my auto campaigns and put them into an exact match campaign. Please don't do that, guys. That's a terrible idea. Very, very dumb. Don't do that. Keep them in the auto campaigns. Leave them alone. You can create the second exact match campaign. You can create the broad match and the phrase match campaigns. Sure, no problem. Build those in addition, but never negate a good keyword off an auto campaign. Ever. Don't do it. Also, never turn off your auto campaign. Leave it on 24/7. The best way to get the lowest ACoS ads right now is on an auto campaign. It's beating manual campaigns. And the reason is because people are over investing in exact match. They're spending too much higher bids on exact match campaigns, which makes the other non-exact match campaigns perform better by default, just based on an auction-based bidding system. So you have lots of opportunities with that, and I highly recommend engaging in all of the ad mediums and testing what works best for your product. So some of the advice I'll give you on today's session will not work for everybody, but it will, and by and large, work for most people. So check your search term report every single week. You can always find things to negate, right? So if we go into my campaign structure, I'll share my screen again here in a second. And in here, if we go into one of my top spending campaigns, right? So I'm running a 57% ACoS last 65 days, which is a little high, but we're trying to jockey for some position. So it works for my brand. It works for me. But if we go for a broad match campaign right here, and it's got a significant high spend, it's got $5,800, right, of my 38K in spend, very, very high. What can we do to see if we can improve the ACoS? Well, what you do is you go into the search terms report and you get some data and you look at the last 35 to 65 days, sort this by spend, and figure out what can we negate. What keywords don't make sense to spend money on? So if we look at this list, postpartum gifts for mom, I've already negated this. It's at 165% ACoS. It's just not working for me. Mom bath gift set, 400% ACoS. This one's also not working for me. So these are obvious systematic negations, and you can already see right here in the data, we've already negated those. Some of the other ones that may need to be looked at is new mom gifts for women, right? We're at 109% ACoS. We're at 52% though on new mom gifts for women after birth. So why does this one do better than this one? No freaking idea. That's just what happens with consumers sometimes, right? So if we go over to Amazon, we type in these two keywords. What's the imagery? What am I competing against when we see something like this? Versus doing this keyword and coming over to Amazon and typing in the keyword and looking to see what the results are different. So there's my brand headline ad that showed up on that particular keyword. And as we scroll down, there's a competitor product right there. We don't even see my organic listing. We don't see a sponsored product for me on either of these two search terms when we searched it out. So there's just a lot of interesting things to unpack with this to try and figure out like why certain keywords are performing sometimes and when they don't perform other times. If we looked at a more extended data set, we go back to Mother's Day, which we can't do in a search term report right here, we would see that these keywords would probably perform at the 20% ACoS for me. So we're jockeying for some position going into the December timeframe, trying to get those orders. But as you can see, those top two spend keywords not producing as well as they should for me. So we have some tough decisions to make. But if we scroll down, we see lots of other great keywords in the 40% ACoS, and those are just fine. I can make money doing that all day long. New mother gifts for mom only, gift basket for mom. I don't know why I do better with the keyword basket, but for some reason I do. Then we take a keyword like this, literally just gifts for mom. I was SEO organic position #1 for this keyword 2 Mother's Days ago. And I have a goose egg on sales right now, 33 clicks, which is terrible, right? Just like absolutely awful result right there. So sometimes the data will change, but this is the best tip I can give people is to come in here, review your data, constantly make decisions on what to do. So maybe the word pregnant is not a good keyword. We could type into the filter like that, search for anything with the word pregnant that shows up. And there's 33 keywords, 167 in spend. Where are those sales coming from? They all came from this one term, gifts for pregnant women to be, but nothing else worked, which is weird, right? Like, why is that keyword
Yeah.
do okay, but nothing else does? So maybe we might do an exact negative keyword right there just to protect us from some of the ACOS creep. Other keywords, if this keyword does well, in theory, that one should do well. So maybe we need more data. But once you add up all this other data, like if you add in, so we got $80 in spend, but the other, other $80 in spend has 0 sales. Maybe we just need to negate the word pregnancy or pregnant at large. Maybe it's just not worth doing. So here's kind of how we make some of those decisions, and it's it's really difficult to do sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So with all this metrics and data, what do you think that at what stage a brand should think of hiring an agency for their managing ads and SEO, all stuff?
Yeah, there's no wrong answer to that question. It really depends on goal setting, right? So if you're an architect and a systems builder and you love hiring people and managing people and dealing with their problems, build it yourself, bring it in-house. But for most people that get into the Amazon game, it's usually one hat of many hats they wear. Maybe they're in charge of Amazon plus Walmart and website and all these other things. Or maybe the person that's in charge of the brand is really good at sourcing, and that's their really good thing, that they're just great at operations. They've been to China, they know how to source items, but they have no clue how to market, right? That's when it makes sense to outsource areas that you don't understand, don't know how to do, right? I did a coaching call with a gentleman earlier this morning where he'd come up with a really great product idea. He has $10,000 in monthly sales, and he's trying to figure out how to level it up to the next step. He hadn't built his brand story yet, doesn't have A+ content, doesn't have a brand story, doesn't have parentage set up, and doesn't even advertise, right? All of these basic things that if you just did in less than 30 days, 60 days, he could be a 50K a month brand. That makes perfect sense to engage an agency to come in and knock that stuff out, especially if you don't have any experience managing all this from A to Z. So one of the things that agencies bring to the table is you get 10 experts logging into your account, and they're the best in the world at that one thing that they do. So we'll have a designer, a PPC expert, an SEO expert, a merchandiser, a catalog troubleshooter, a strategist, an analyzer, right? Like all of these different roles, which would cost you, $60,000 to $100,000 per role to build that out in the United States. You can come in and hire an agency for a fraction of hiring one employee and get access to the best in class on every one of those levers.
Yeah, I think that was a simple and really great answer. So inside our agency, Regrow Media, we recently started a team training called Train Your PPC Person. So basically the concept came because a lot of D2C brands were asking to train their in-house team.
That's
so
a great
what do you think what do you think at what stage a brand should focus on building their in-house marketing team?
Really no wrong answer to this question either, right? If you are going to spend $200,000 in monthly PPC spend, should you bring an in-house person who could leave at any point in time, that you have to pay health benefits to, that you have to deal with their emotions and their time off, at 150 grand in salary, right, per year, to manage your 1.5 million dollars in annual revenue, ad spend rather? Or can you hire an agency for the fraction of the cost, and your ads never turn off? There's never a vacation concern because there's always somebody looking at it, right? So it just depends. What's the goal of the brand? What's the goal of the owner, right? Sometimes going from one agency to another can also be very valuable because you get different perspectives, different campaign setups. Sometimes going from one agency to another can be a disaster. Sometimes you hire somebody in-house and they just totally archive all of your campaigns and they're just a hostile employee. So like there's just so many different possibilities that somebody can run through. And it depends on your risk tolerance, your system building abilities, building abilities, as well as your ability to manage people. If you're not good at managing people, you should always outsource. Always outsource if you can't manage people.
Yeah. So we are a 22-member team right now, and our goal is to get to 104 by December. We are scaling fast. We want few tips from your side. What should we consider at this point of time?
So you have how many employees?
22.
22. Okay. And what's your main goal as an agency? What do you guys want to do?
We want to help brands and sellers as of now
Okay,
for
so
only the ads part,
got it. So
advertising
you want
part.
to be a PPC agency, and you want to be best in class for PPC.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys need to get really good at building SOPs and systems specifically around where you want to be an inch wide and a mile deep, right? You want to be so knowledgeable about PPC that nobody can touch you on that knowledge set. You want to build use cases and studies about your techniques. You want to be a trend center in the space. You want to put out PPC content and share all of your trade secrets and be attracting clientele because you know what you're talking about, right? These are the things that made us successful. And those are generally the things that we see other PPC agencies do that make them successful. You need to have a layering in your management. So you're going to have an account director. You're going to have advertising managers, PPC specialists. You need to build out the ratio of how many clients a person can build out, as well as the structure of how many people a manager can manage. Who does the QA work? Who makes sure things go right? What happens when somebody goes on vacation? You need to staff to 120% at an agency because you need to be able to grow and add a new client at any given time. Lots and lots of different policies, procedures, standard operating procedures you need to get in place as an agency.
Wow. I mean, I have to rewatch the recording again. It was really valuable. So since we are coming to an end, so where can people follow you and learn from your contents?
So you guys can follow us at YouTube. Just go on the My Amazon Guy YouTube channel. Hit subscribe. We put out content every day. We have over 1,200 videos. You can also enroll in one of our courses. You want to get really good at PPC or SEO, go to mag-school.com and enroll in one of our PPC and SEO courses. We've had more than 30,000 people take a course from My Amazon Guy. We lose money to put those courses out, by the way. It's just one of our services that we try and offer and give back to the community, especially to the up and coming countries like India and all of the great people that are trying to build a career in Amazon. It's our way of giving back. And then for Amazon brands that want to check us out, you can hit us up at myamazonguy.com. So thanks for having me on, Sammy.
Yeah. Thank you, Stevens. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. I'll see you again in the next podcast. I'm sure you are going to, my audience is going to love the content today, and we'll try to have you again with a lot more knowledge and content.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Like a plan. Slam that like button, guys. Make this the most liked video Sammy ever put out.
Thank you so much.